In a new sign of the importance of Venezuelan oil, President Trump announcing Venezuela's interim authorities will turn over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the U.S. to be sold at market price, and that President Trump would control the profits to benefit the people of both countries. That as he praised the U.S. mission to capture Venezuela's now deposed authoritarian leader, Nicolas Maduro.
It was so complex, 152 airplanes, many. Talk about boots on the ground. We had a lot of boots on the ground.
Maduro and his wife now facing federal charges in the U.S., accused of bringing tons of illegal drugs into this country. While on Capitol Hill, Democrats are questioning the motivation for Maduro's removal.
The president, said this was about narco trafficking, and now he's saying it's about oil.
All members of Congress are due for a briefing today on the operation amid mounting questions about what's next, as President Trump asserts the U.S. is in charge in Venezuela, while the country's interim president, a close Maduro ally, insists no external agent is governing the country. Her government cracking down on dissent and detaining journalists.
Colombia agradece la convocatoria.
And across the border in Colombia, where President Trump has signaled he may focus next, heightened alert.
This sets a precedent that is extremely worrying because it threatens regional peace and security.
While European allies are voicing deep concern amid new details from the White House that President Trump and his team are discussing a range of options for acquiring Greenland, and that using the U.S. military is always an option, calling it a national security priority. Greenland is strategically important, mineral-rich, and a semi-autonomous part of the Kingdom of Denmark, a NATO ally. The government of Denmark has requested an urgent meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio and has rejected President Trump's claim that the country is unable to protect Greenland. In Washington, Alice Barr, NBC News.
Overnight, a show of defiance inside Venezuela. The country's prominent interior minister posting video surrounded by armed men declaring allegiance to now deposed leader Nicolas Maduro, chanting "loyal always, never traitors." It follows a march supporting Maduro yesterday, all meant to send a message to President Trump, who's moving ahead with his plans for Venezuela, announcing overnight that the country will turn over 30 to 50 million barrels of oil to the U.S., adding it will be sold at market price, with the revenue used to benefit both Americans and Venezuelans. The president also touting the stealth U.S. mission that captured Maduro and his wife.
It was amazing, and think of it, nobody was killed, and on the other side, a lot of people were killed.
Venezuela's military now says 24 of its troops died in the attack. Cuba has said 32 of its nationals were also killed. The Pentagon says just 7 American soldiers were injured. 5 are already back on duty, with 2 others still recovering, including one shot multiple times in the leg.
It was an amazing military feat.
Inside Venezuela, the remaining government is still cracking down on dissent, detaining journalists and police saying they arrested these 2 people for celebrating Maduro's arrest. People really don't want to leave their homes, this Venezuelan man who crossed the border into Colombia says, adding there are armed groups outside conducting searches. With mounting questions about who's in charge in Venezuela, acting President Delcy Rodriguez insists no external agent is governing the country. NBC News has learned the Trump administration had been in discussions with Rodriguez and her brother for months before the Maduro raid. That's according to 2 people familiar with a classified briefing to top members of Congress this week.
As Venezuela's deposed president, Nicolas Maduro sits in a Brooklyn detention center. And with the country's future increasingly uncertain, all eyes turn to the key players within Venezuela who possess the power to potentially reshape it. Following Maduro's capture, his VP and staunch ally, Delcy Rodriguez, was sworn in as interim president. Her relationship with the U.S. unclear after a threat from Trump if she doesn't cooperate.
I just say that she will face a situation probably worse than Maduro, because, Maduro gave up.
That prompted a defiant response, condemning the raid as an, quote, atrocity that violates international law. Hours later, softening her message, writing on Telegram, We prioritize moving towards balanced and respectful international relations between the United States and Venezuela. Rodriguez's brother Jorge, also prominent as the president of Venezuela's National Assembly and her ally in the legislature. Diosdado Cabello Rondon is Venezuela's Minister of Interior, Justice, and Peace, a top Maduro ally who began as a trusted lieutenant of Hugo Chavez. He's in charge of the police and intelligence agencies, charged with drug trafficking alongside Maduro by the feds. The U.S. is offering up to $25 million for information that could lead to his arrest.
No a la guerra.
Vladimir Padrino Lopez is a four-star general, the country's longtime Minister of Defense and a crucial bridge between the presidency and the armed forces. He has endorsed and aligned the military with the interim presidency of Delcy Rodriguez. Meanwhile, the opposition, Edmundo Gonzalez, is the rightful winner of the most recent election in 2024. After the election, he faced an arrest warrant from the Maduro government and fled to political asylum in Spain. Since Maduro's capture, Gonzalez has demanded the release of political prisoners and respect for the will of Venezuelan voters. And the global face of the opposition and an underlying champion of democracy, Maria Corina Machado. Authorities aligned with the Maduro regime barred her from running for president in 2023 after she won the primary overwhelmingly. But she does not seem to have the backing of President Trump.
It'd be very tough for her to be the leader. She doesn't have the support within or the respect within the country. She's a very nice woman, but she doesn't have the respect.
Last year, Machado was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for her work standing up to authoritarianism, something this week she said she'd like to share with Trump.
I do want to say today, on behalf of the Venezuelan people, how grateful we are for his courageous vision, the actions, historical actions he has taken against this narco-terrorist regime.
She's currently living outside Venezuela in an undisclosed safe location, but has pledged to return, quote, as soon as possible.